Okay, so this video is about getting into the modem configuration, or basically the router configuration page. So first what you want to do is click on network, and then you'll see a Q1000K router, and then you click on the properties tab, and it will then show you basically an IP address, which is 192.168.0.1. Okay, so then you'll enter that into a URL tab, and then it'll give you this page saying your connection is not private, and then you're going to have to click on advance, because there's like certain security connections, I guess, but what you're doing is just basically accessing your own device, so it's safe to do this. Or you could go to configure.q.com, and then you click on proceed to configuration.q.com, and you click on that link, and then it'll bring up this modem logon. And I'm not sure why they call it the modem, because usually you configure the router. And so to get basically the password and username, it's on the modem here. And they kind of have different names for some of these things too. Like this picture shows that it's a smart NID, while this device is called the wired pod. Okay, so basically the password and username, that's the default one, is on the smart ID or this modem here. And so you enter that in where it says username and password, and then you hit apply. Okay, then it'll go to this other page here where you can click on the modem status, the quick steps, utilities, the advanced setup. So under the modem status, you can see your connection, and it's showing connected, and that's what it should show. So basically you can kind of diagnose what's going on, and sometimes you'll have the modem working, but then you'll have a bad LAN cable. So if you try a different category 6 cable, it might work. Okay, and then you can click on the quick setup tab, and this is kind of like where you click to refresh and renew. And so if you kind of have internet access, but then it's not showing a page, or it's showing your modem's basically connected, but you can't get onto the internet, sometimes it gets confused. So you have to press release and renew to get a new IP address and reset it all. And sometimes you just have to turn it on and off. Okay, kind of do like a power cycle thing. And then under the utility tabs, you can click on upgrade firmware. And so you might want to go click on this download link, and that will get a copy of your current firmware, or otherwise you can Google this file. And so what I do is I just go in here and save the file, and it's a .bin file. And you kind of just save that in case there's like errors. And it's kind of nice to have that file if you're really stuck, and then at least you have a backup of that original file, and you can try to re-upload the older firmware, if you did a firmware update or something like that and it's not working now. But most of the times you aren't going to play around with it. With this, it's kind of just nice to have that extra file. then you can also go on the Configurations Backup tab and click Download to save the modem's configuration file. And so that gives you a tar.gz file. And it's kind of just like a nice file to have if something's not working. Then you could always re-upload the file if there's something wrong. And then if you click on Utilities, the diagnostic test, you can kind of see if there's an error or if there's a problem with the unit. So I guess that's another way to troubleshoot it. And then if you click on Advanced Setup, you can click on the Access Scheduler. And so then you can set, like, if you want it only on internet access only on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then you can set the time. I think that's all that I need to kind of go over. And yeah, I just kind of find it different that they kind of call this Smart ID, which is usually called a modem, and then they call this the router or the wireless pod, but then when you go in and configure it, it's called the modem configuration, which usually with different servers you don't, or like, yeah, here they have the modem logon. Usually with a Linksys server, you usually configure the router, not actually the modem. But I guess that's just what they call it. Hope this helps.